Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How are you guys doing today? My name is Francine, as some of you already know, and this is my channel, The Hermetic Herald. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome in. Thank you so much for taking the time to look into this reading. For the people that you are really interested in, for the celebrities that are out there that you have questions about, you want to see and tap into their energies, tap into what's going on with them in the collective. So I want to come on here and continue on, because I have had a list, so many lists for so long, and I've been going through them, right? And I feel like I should continue and honor the people that are waiting for the One Direction readings, because those are important as well as the others, but those specifically I've been thinking about. So I'm going to continue on from, I did Zayn and Harry, how they feel about each other, how they feel about other members in One Direction. I'd like to move forward into Liam. How does Liam feel about his fellow previous, the members of One Direction? What does he feel, at least in the past, how he felt, and then how does he feel currently? So I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I hope you guys are okay with that. I always like to kind of go with the flow, go with how things are feeling. I feel like I need to get something up above in my room right now. I feel like I need to use this deck. So we're going to use the Kipper deck for the reading. Don't know if I used that for the other ones, but Liam, I feel like he wants that. I feel like Liam is very down to earth, very straightforward. He's coming through that way, and I'm also seeing the King of Swords at the end, the bottom of the deck. That's not the warmest, fuzziest king, right? That's someone that's very straightforward, very focused on the truth, focused on information and how it comes through. It's an air energy, so he feels like that towards all of them. Now let's get into it. Let's do it this way. Let's look at how Liam feels about, let's start off with Zayn. How did Liam feel about Zayn back in the day, during the height of their fame, during the height of One Direction's fame specifically? How did Liam feel towards Zayn? Liam Payne towards Zayn. I'm just hearing he was over it. So when it comes to Liam, okay, first card that came out, second, third, fourth. Let's get into it. Wow. Alright. First card that came through was Death. This is why I was feeling like he felt like there was a finality to the relationship. He felt like he was over Zayn specifically. In the past, he felt the Death card. That's about transformation, but that's also about cutting ties. The energy feels very stiff, very forced, or very dead. Death. Then we have the Empress, which is interesting, right? So this is Taurus energy. This is the energy of abundance. This is the energy of moving into something, moving from something that died into something luscious, something beautiful, something abundant. Moving into the Eight of Wands. Then the Judgment card, Seven of Swords, or Seven of Wands. For some reason I said Seven of Swords. Six of Swords, and I'll explain all of this in a second. And the Three of Swords, as well as the Four of Pentacles. Now all of this is telling me a story, so I'm gonna just, I'm basically gonna take these, look at them for a second, and let's look at these cards. Can you give me any insight, Spirit Team, past energy? Ooh. Okay. Alright, it's a lot of cards. So we have Coffin. Guys, we had Death, and now we have Coffin. If you guys thought that they were kind of at odds with each other back then, they were at odds with each other in the past, for sure. Everything came out in reverse, which tells me he felt off kilter. He felt unbalanced specifically with Zayn. Because we have imprisonment coming out at the bottom, this came out, a group of them, right? Imprisonment, marriage in reverse, pathway, Lovers, House, main male, Thoughts, Gift, Child, Eve. the dynamic between these two was messy, and it wasn't really very good. Liam felt imprisoned. He felt like he was trapped. He had no choice with regards to Zayn. He felt like he was childish. I'm getting the energy of someone who felt like the other person was either like a child, was not ordered in some way. The King of Swords energy is coming through again for Liam. So it just feels like he felt like he needed to work on him. He needed to fix him in some way. He needed to communicate with him in some way. But I feel like it was a lost cause in his mind. So number 19 is also significant. Someone at the time was 19, or the number 19 is just coming up for some reason. The Empress is what gets me, because I feel as though we had the King of Swords for Liam, and how he felt very like he was a very forward thinker, in the sense that he was very straightforward, communicative. He was very logical. I'm getting the Queen of Swords energy coming through with the Two of Wands and the Ten of Swords, which tells me he looked for the ending. He looked for the ending in sight. He saw that this wasn't going to go anywhere outside of the relationship that they had in the team, in the group. And I almost feel like they were at odds in some way. When you have the Seven of Wands coming through, that tells me defensiveness. That tells me that you didn't really find like a safe harbor with this person. You kind of felt like you were at odds with them. Six of Swords is moving into calmer waters, like transitioning. You guys were they felt like they were constantly transitioning back in the day. They were speaking their piece, getting defensive about it on either end, and then moving forward. It was disappointing a bit for other members. I feel like it was disappointing for them as well. There was a constant state of feeling like they had to hold back from each other in some way, though, which is why this doesn't feel very good. This energy feels forced. Very forced energy. I want to look at the archetypes of these two. So what was the archetype of Liam at this time with regards to Zayn? He was the seeker. He was the one that was the seeker and the mediator. He tried to understand Zayn in some ways. I think he came at it from more of a he tried to use more of a mothering energy, because the mother archetype is at the bottom. He tried to come at Zayn with some ways to help him, fix him, address certain things with him, trying to solve something in some way. And that was probably not the best way to come across or come to Zayn, because we have seeker, that's thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are, and then we have mediator. He felt like he had to mediate with Zayn a lot with either his vices. For some reason that's coming through. Like if Zayn had a vice or a difficulty with something, he felt like he had to be the one to hold his hand and get him through it. And I think he got tired of trying to do that. And I don't know if you guys know or if it's done behind closed doors, but I feel like he tried to help him in some ways. But he either felt like he was a lost cause, or he felt like he lost chances, is what I'm hearing. Lost chances. I feel like he's tried so many times to help, but what he was looking for was a different person. I feel like Liam to some extent did not really accept Zayn for Zayn, and more so wanted to see how he could help fix something with him. Just getting the mother energy. But then he would come in sweetly at first, like nicely, kindly, trying to say, I care about you. You're a part of this team. I want you to be okay, but I need to know about this. You need to do this, that, or the other thing in order to make things right. I feel like he was trying too hard in a way. Thirst for wisdom and truth. I feel like he loves wisdom and truth, Liam. Like he's very good at honoring. He's a very honoring energy in the sense of wanting to get to the bottom and to get to the root of a situation. He was very true to trying to help in some ways in his own way, but it wasn't the best way. So his archetype was the seeker. He was trying to always be that person, and I feel like he was like that for someone else in the group. If I did Harry and Zayn, and I feel like that came through. We have for Zayn lover. Okay, he came through with devotion, appreciation for Liam. He came from a place of being open to him. I feel that energy coming through. We also have God and Samaritan. Zayn in some ways felt like he was a godsend to Liam, because he saw Liam with compassion. Zayn specifically, Zayn recognized the internal force within him, like his religion or his spiritual beliefs, the strongly held beliefs, and he saw him through the lens of his belief system, and that made him more compassionate towards Liam. He also felt like Zayn felt like he was a Samaritan, and he was able to love on Liam in a way that without the love of God in him, he would not be able to. Something about him clinging to his belief system in order to like Liam, and also feeling like he was a Samaritan to him, that he was, even if there weren't, it feels like the energy of two people who don't gel together, and that religion has helped. Like, if they didn't have, if Zayn specifically didn't have some firmly held beliefs about loving people and loving your neighbor, loving those around you, I feel like this would not work out faster. Like, it would have gotten worse a lot quicker. I feel like Liam is just a very like air energy coming through / Virgo type energy. He's very like straight to the point, but I don't feel the warmth as much as I feel the warmth from Zayn. I feel like the warmth is what helped them communicate with each other, but I feel like there were so many things that they had to talk about that it was almost a frustrating energy, a frustration to be like in this group with each other. So this was the height of their relationship. He's coming from more of the lover archetype, and Liam is coming from more of the objective, right, wrong type energy. Let's look at something else here. So what was the situation with Liam and Zayn at this time? Is there anything? Okay. Wow, we're just getting a lot for these two. Child. So something about a child. We have family room in reverse, despair, message of concern, wealthy man, imprisonment. Something specific is something shifted for Liam in his perspective of Zayn after he became a father. Something like that happened. And this could have been after, right? After One Direction, but their spirit team is trying to give us an understanding. And I'm hearing delicatessen. I feel like there's something really there's like a thorn in Liam's side towards Zayn and how he perceived him after he became a father, after he became like this, addressed his family, or the concept of family, the concept of keeping those two lives separate, or keeping them like respected or in their own lane. Something about Liam's perspective on him, feeling like he was trapped in some way. Liam's perspective is interesting, and this came through in the other reading that I did. I feel like there's some disrespect there with regards to how he sees Zayn after he had a child. So we're going on into like more so close to current events. This was like not too long ago. It just feels like message of concern, wealthy man, imprisonment. He feels interesting. He thinks that Liam sees Zayn as more of a foolish energy, or more of a like, let's just do it. I'm not sure if Gigi and Zayn had their child because they were being careless in some way, but he's coming through as like, how could you do that? Communicative, telling him like, the things that you did them recklessly. Are you ready to be a father? Things like that. I don't know if they had a conversation ever about this. Please let me know in the comments below. But I'm just getting the energy that he just had a lot of firmly held opinions about Zayn. And we're getting 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords at the end, which is like this worry, this anxiety. He feels anxious around him. He feels like he's not like, something about his manhood or something, fatherhood and manhood. There's a disrespect there. He feels like he should have been married or something like that. With regards to having a family, should wait until marriage. I don't know anything much apart from what I've done in my readings and what my lovely viewers have said. But I don't remember details very well, and I wonder why this is coming into the reading from like when Zayn had a baby. Something about him and his child and what happened between them, and then Liam having some specific firmly held beliefs that I don't think he has to have, because it's not him. It's like, are they that close? I don't think so. I feel like Liam specifically is a very independent energy. He's all about learning, about wisdom, seeking wisdom wherever it is, manifesting something for yourself. And I feel like he had some firmly held beliefs when Zayn decided or became a father. So let's move on to current energies, because we're getting into the current energies already. How does Liam feel about Zayn? How does Liam feel about Zayn as of today? And currently. Today is December 31st, 2023. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, the Six of Cups, the Chariot, the Moon, the Star, the Page of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. He feels a lot better now after they've been away from each other in the group. It feels like he's more so interested and willing to collaborate with him. He sees that what happened in the time that they were together has helped him in some way. I think he feels like he's at peace with the past. He's at peace with it and looks on it fondly. He does have fond memories of One Direction, specifically with Zayn. He seems to have done a lot of healing behind closed doors, guys. Liam feels like he's gone through a lot of recollections or understanding about like what happened back then and learning big lessons. Now, I want to see what he's learned, because he feels like he's resolved some things in his mind and he's happy. So he feels at peace with him. He feels like he's okay. What is Zayn, or what is Liam healed? We have masculine energy. He's healed his masculine energy. He needed to heal, like, by being in this group of men. I feel like, and, you know, they were growing up in that group, so they were boys to men type energy, like they were growing. And I feel like he himself grew a lot through healing his masculine energy and providing a sacred space for himself and learning what it means to be a man. I feel like he had some ideals and beliefs about manhood, and I feel like he was triggered by Zayn when they were in the group together. So we have past, present, and future, and sacred space. So he's learned a lot about healing and creating sacred space and being patient with people, being patient with himself, and also honoring people's energy and not trying to change them. Growth. A lot of growth happened for him. So that's beautiful. He would collaborate with him again. He would talk to him again. He would actually go into like any inspired action towards like a song or something like that, doing something. He's open to it. He would run towards that opportunity. He just doesn't think it'll happen, or feels like there's like a kind of a unknown. There's like an energy of it feeling unknown of whether they would ever do that. But he has the Page of Wands. He would move forward with it. He's content with where he's at, but he would be open to it. So we're gonna move on. My camera is overheating. We're gonna move on into the next person, which is Harry. Okay, so hold up, wait a minute. Let me not go on, because this is gonna be me, hi guys, going into Zayn's feelings. Let's go into it. This is not the same day that I did that reading, but as I was editing and about to send this out today, I noticed that I missed that. So information will still be relevant. Today is January 2nd. Happy New Year, guys. Let's look at Zayn, and then we'll go back into what I did previously on the 31st on New Year's Eve. So the information is still relevant because it's about current energies, and this is current. So let's keep going into Zayn. How did Zayn, and how does Zayn currently feel about Liam? How does Zayn currently feel about Liam? Because we got into Liam earlier, so let's just keep going. All right, let's keep it moving. There's 1, 2. Okay. How does Zayn feel currently about Liam? Current energies towards Liam. I'm hearing 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. 6, 7. These are going to be extras. So we're going to look at this. We have actually a little bit more than 7. Bottom of the deck here is that his energy is more so geared towards working. So in regards to Zayn's feelings, he feels like their relationship has always been a work in progress or something that they've attempted to work on. Current energies, though, is that he's looking at him as a person that he does have feelings professionally with. He feels like they worked really hard together because we have the Eight of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups, and we have the Four of Wands. He wants there to be some sense of unity, some sense of positive energy between the two of them. First card that came through was the Ten of Cups, guys. So Ten of Cups came through for how he feels towards Liam. We have the Chariot, the Hanged Man. We have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Before, it was when we looked at them and their energies together, we had the Four of Pentacles sideways, which was a constant state of feeling like they had to hide from each other, but now it's in reverse. That energy typically is about, the first row is about looking for peace. Zayn feels really like he's interested in peace. I'm just going to move it a little bit. Moving towards wanting there to just be reconciliation in some way with regards to Liam. I feel like he doesn't have any hurt feelings, but he does wonder about him because we have the Hanged Man, wonder about and is in deliberation of how he feels about Liam. Now, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, that tells me that he's open to letting go of some information or opening up, allowing himself to be vulnerable. He is open to that. Five of Wands, though, is telling me that he still has some feeling of that they're competitive between the two of them, or that they don't gel together very easily. This is something that's like not conflict necessarily, but it's definitely differing beliefs, differing opinions, and trying to form, these five people trying to form a foundation. So Zayn just feels like he's always at odds, or feels like it's not easy to find that reconciliation, that balance, but he's willing. So on his end, he's willing. We have the Moon. And looking back on this, you know, as I was editing, it's very similar, but more so like he's a little bit more protective, and more so he feels slighted in some way, at least in the past. So the energy of the Hanged Man makes sense. It's like, I'm still forming an opinion about you. I don't have an idea of who you are truly as a person because we've grown, but I'm still in deliberation. I'm still thinking. I'm open to sharing and being vulnerable, you know, opening up and sharing what my thoughts were, what my feelings were at the time, what my feelings are now. We have the Nine of Swords, though, and the Ten of Wands. He feels like it's a burden on his back. Something about the relationship giving him a lot of grief or anxiety or stress. So he has to still heal that. So there's some essence of him still needing to heal in order to manifest something new, but he wants change. Zayn wants something to shift with regards to the two of them. He still feels like there's leftover, because I feel like having these two cards towards the end tells me he has afterthoughts and feelings towards Liam that are uncomfortable, that are giving him some anxiety or have been a burden to him. To clarify the energies, we also have the Queen of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. Slow and steady. He would rather take his time. He's not rushing to do that. He has a lot of love in general towards people. He doesn't like being at odds with people, specifically Zayn. He wants to bridge a gap with the Lovers coming in. He wants there to be some reconciliation in some way. So he's willing to do his part of opening up, but there are there's some residual hurts there. I'm not gonna lie about that or any of this. I feel like, yeah, look at this, guys. What does he need to heal? This is the card that came through. Forgiveness. What does he need to forgive? What does Zayn need to forgive with regards to Liam here? What does Zayn need to heal? Wow, sexual energy, guys. And that's coming out in... Okay, it's coming out sideways, which tells me that it's been a constant issue with regards to his sex life, or with regards to his belief systems, with regards to religion, and with sex, and with sexual identity, sexual interest, sexual activity, and religion. There's something about him feeling like Liam needs to strip, or strip illusions. Not strip, guys. I feel like someone said what? No, I mean like stripping illusions, because that's at the bottom of the deck. Zayn feels like Liam needed to do some work, some self-development, some work on perceiving people and judging people based on their decisions to go into something sexually, or decisions to have sex, even if they are committed to God, committed to their religious beliefs. Something about him feeling like like Liam has held that over his head. And what greater way to show that you've had sex than having a child, right? Because for women, right, when you become pregnant, it's like, yep, everyone knows now that you have done that. And there's sometimes a modicum, there's sometimes this like sense of shame that people put on you or place on you, especially if you state that you're Christian, or that you're Muslim, or that your belief systems, which typically talk about marriage, you know, or like purity, sexual purity. When that happens, there tends to be that dynamic where people look down on you. And I feel like Zayn felt like in some way Liam looked down on him. And I just get that sense throughout his readings. You will see in the future readings, as you guys go through this one, of the feelings he's had towards other members as well, and his religious beliefs coming up quite often. Even if he's not very outspoken, Liam, about his beliefs, it feels very strongly rooted in this reading and in other readings I've done for him. So yeah, sexual energy is something he's still healing with regards to feeling some, I feel like Liam might have made him feel bad, or mentioned something that made him feel really bad about himself at the time that he was expecting a child, or prior, about his like prowess, sexual prowess or interests. Something about him like feeling like he was just berated or put down. Berated, B-E-R-A-T-E-D, in case something like with the captions, it messes that up and says it's different. Yeah, just weird. It's unfortunate. So is there anything else in regards to what he needs to forgive? Wow, it's all good. I feel like he's still trying to come to terms with everything that's happened in the past, Zayn, and he's trying to see that everything worked out for his good anyway, meaning divine timing. Sometimes the people that are placed in your life at certain times may trigger you, may bring up some insecurities that you feel about yourself because you still care about what people think. Caring what people think is very common, and I feel like he cared what Liam thought at some point, maybe thought of him as even as a potential mentor when they were in the group, and he disappointed him. He made him feel negative or feel like he needed to walk away from his beliefs. I'm just getting the energy of a missionary with regards to Liam. He gave me missionary vibes. And I actually personally have had experiences with people that were missionaries, or people that were, and I'm sure you guys can attest to some experiences with people that were sharing the gospel or sharing certain things from a Christian standpoint. And I feel like he affected him. Their disagreements, their feelings towards each other, it really affected him as far as how he expresses himself creatively. He's healing that though, but he needs to forgive him specifically. He may have come to an understanding of himself to a greater degree, but he still has some residual unforgiveness and anger towards him. And I think he's willing to share it and let it go, but he needs some closure, okay? And we have struggle. It's been a struggle, and it's upside down. It's been a constant uphill battle for Zayn to forgive. Specifically with Liam. I'm not sure what else is there, you know, what else there is to the story. But what his spirit team is saying is he needs to make sacred space for himself. I feel like he was looking for the truth, and he maybe was open to Liam's thought processes on the truth as the King of Swords energy that Liam tends to embody. And I feel like he unfortunately was hurt or burned by Liam, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle trusting someone that deeply, because he did at one point. And we also have growth. Yeah, he's growing. He's continually growing. So at the end of the day, this too shall pass, is what I'm hearing. The truth of the situation, the truth that he has, his inner truth, inner guidance, is going to be his focus. And I feel like he's just healing people that have tried to impress upon him or force their views on him. Okay, Liam represents a collective energy, I think, and that's why it's hard to get away or to forgive that aspect of it. So let's move back into the rest of the reading, and I'll see you soon. And you know what? I want to make sure I do their archetypes, because the archetypes currently are important as well. So let's get into the archetypes for Liam and for Zayn first before we move on to Harry. So let's do what is currently Liam's archetype with regards to Zayn. Whatever aspect that they still hold on to, like if they still talk to each other, still see each other, think of each other. So he sees himself as the advocate, and he also feels like he's a student. So now Liam's feeling like he's learning something from Zayn more. It feels like he's more compassionate. He has a lot more openness in his heart space towards him. And we're getting another card that's green as well. So heart chakra stuff is happening. His healing process with his masculine energy has helped him see Zayn differently. He's now looking at what he's learned from him. He's also open to taking notes with the scribe archetype. Interesting. Is there anything else, Spirit? Yeah, I feel like he has like an openness to his feminine energy more because he's healed his masculine. Is there anything else that Liam embodies right now in between him and Zayn? We have hero, heroine. He's more resolved to seeing how he's empowered by how he has been empowered by other people, including Zayn, and how he can empower people. So he's more so looking at the positive side of things. He's not as negative and as pessimistic as he used to be. Willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Now he's more open to his intuition. So he sees himself as someone that would gamble on certain things, not like he wouldn't follow just a clear-cut information. He would be willing to follow his intuition now. And now he's willing to talk. There's some things he wants to say, and he feels like he should have honored his trust more is what I'm getting. So he feels more like he's open to listening. Storyteller. Yeah, he used to be a storyteller as well, though. He's healing that. All right, so with regards to Zayn, what archetype is he embodying between the two of them? Before he was the lover. He's a child orphan, independent. So he feels independent from Liam. Conquering fear of surviving. I think Zayn is more resolved. He feels like a mentor energy when it comes to Liam, passing on wisdom and refining a person's or a student's character. You see how he's the mentor and now Liam's the student. We also have pioneer, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. He's very he sees like the brighter side of things. I feel like Zayn would be more open to something because he feels very rich and abundant with the Midas miser. He feels like he can turn anything to gold despite the crap that they've been through. I feel like he still sees like there's some bright shining gem out of it. He seems more like resolved and more like, I know this won't be as much, but I know that I'm independent, that I'm focusing on helping people if I can in some way, and then also seeing new roads form. But he's also a judge, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So he's just being fair. He's very straightforward now. They've almost switched where he's more resolved and he and Liam is more like open. Five of Swords at the bottom. Interesting. So that's what I have for them. Very interesting but stiff energy between the two of them at the end of the day. Let's move on to Harry and Liam. Hey everyone, so let's keep going. Let's see what my camera will let me do because it's starting to overheat. But let's keep going. What does Liam feel towards Harry? What did he feel in the height of One Direction, at the height of One Direction, Spirit Team? What did Liam feel towards Harry in the height of One Direction? Okay, so first card that I felt intuitively was the Three of Cups. Wow, that's like celebration. He felt like a very celebratory energy, very competitive energy, but very resolved. So what's interesting with Harry is with Liam, Liam felt like he could have like a sense of camaraderie with him. There was not as much of a battle in the sense of like, I don't like you, let's fight. It's more so of like a competitive edge of feeling like you can have competition with your friend, with someone that you resonate with, and that it would be good because it would help sharpen you guys. It feels like that energy. So he felt like he had a competitive energy towards him. They might bicker. They might have bickered a number of times, as we would expect in a group. But I feel like there was this softness with Liam. He usually is embodying the King of Swords when I do a reading on him, and now it's the Queen of Swords. It feels more like a feminine energy of truth, still talking your, talking the truth, speaking on what you feel strongly about, but not being as stiff or as hurtful or as painful about it. I feel like he's coming from that place with the Lovers, definitely feeling like there's like a camaraderie, or there's like a sense of a bond. There was a bond between them. It just felt more like they were competitive between the two of them. Bottom of the deck is classic for Harry, which is the Page of Cups. I always get this for him in every reading I do for him. I have a couple if you guys are interested, and if you haven't seen it. Page of Cups, Ten of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. I almost feel like there's this energy of fake though, that comes into this reading. And what's interesting is it feels like fake in the sense of like we hold hands, or we like put our arms around each other and we resonate with each other, but we act like we're closer than we truly are. There's this energy of someone feeling burdened a little bit, burdened by the expectation people had of them. They still have like a camaraderie, don't get me wrong. They can still like talk with each other and have a great time, but back in the, the height of their relationship in one direction, it feels as though it was a little bit burdensome, and I feel like someone was just feeling burdened by someone's youthfulness, and I feel like this was Liam feeling burdened by Harry's perspective, by the way he was, his Aquarian energy, and I'm feeling like he learned a lot of things though from Harry. It just feels as though he felt like it was a lot to handle. He kind of felt like he was handling Harry in some way. Let's keep going. Let's go with a situation here. What's the situation? What was the situation at the height of their time in one direction? What was the situation with Liam and Harry? We have distant horizons, courthouse, great honor, or high honor, I should say. Let's put these three. And then there's one that fell, which was poverty. Interesting. So distant horizons, courthouse, high honor, poverty. What an interesting energy there. And then we have expectation at the bottom of the deck, message, and mature woman. This energy is influenced by something else. So as I was expecting, my camera decided to cut out right then and there when I said that. So left you guys for like a half a second on that cliffhanger. There was just an energy that came in. Feels external to them, because when I saw the mature woman come through, that made me feel like there was a specific mature woman in mind. Maybe this is management. But there was some kind of expectation with these two to take off in some way with regards to their relationship, or regards to like how people see them. How did Harry and Liam seem to you guys? Please let me know in the comments below in terms of like the height of their success when you guys were watching them and they were, doing interviews and such. Was there kind of some impressed or imposed feeling towards like them becoming friends, becoming closer than they were? But they were still comrades, don't get me wrong, but there's this energy of them having to deal with the glitz and the glamour of society, of like working in this group together. But I feel like it almost feels like it dwindled in some way. Like they had a connection, but it kind of dwindled as people began to analyze it a little bit more. So let's look at what was the overall energy, spirit. Building blocks. So they have the building blocks necessary for a relationship, for like a good comrade, a good companion to erupt, or them to have a good friendship. But they had some things they had to clean up together that I don't know if they did, to be honest. Clean it up is necessary. Is there anything else that would help us understand Harry and Liam back in the height of their success in the group together? Loyal heart. So they seem like they're both loyal individuals. Both of them had some feeling of like either brotherly love, or some like feeling of like, okay, we both can understand where we're coming from, where we are in our lives right now. We're the Three of Cups energy here. But I'm feeling like with serendipity, deep knowing, and higher power, they knew that there was someone else that was a force. There was like some manager, someone in management that was kind of kind of putting things together, putting ideas in people's minds about the two of them. Something like that is coming through. Why is poverty here? Imprisonment. At one point they felt imprisoned by this group. The two of them specifically felt imprisoned. And that's kind of sad because they seem to have been starting off on a great foot. They thought that each other, both of them, were gifts with the thought card and gifts coming through. They both felt like they were a gift to one another, but I almost feel like someone interjected. We have lovers. So like the energy of just having like a camaraderie kind of dwindled as they grew in this group. Please let me know if that makes sense to you guys, because I don't know these two as far as like growing up with them. I heard and knew of them, but who didn't know of One Direction? I mean, but I felt like I feel like I'm missing something here. Thief. Something stole their joy, stole the relationship, or had it end. And I don't know if it was some disagreement that they had at some point while they were together, but there's something that was started that didn't end well for them. So let's keep going. Let's look into their archetypes. That might give us a better understanding of what kind of headspace they were in when they were like in the group, and then we can see what their energies are like now. Also, what they healed, if they healed anything at that time, and if they're healing now, something between the two of them energetically. You don't have to be in their proximity, like with the person, to heal. So it definitely could just be an aspect of the person coming up in other people in your life while you guys are not around each other. So that's always a possibility. The Nine of Pentacles is coming through. They're very independent energies, the two of them, but I feel like they respected each other in some way. There was some respect and also some nostalgia. They felt like they were friends. There's a sweetness here. I can't deny that. So let's keep going. Archetypes. What was Harry's archetype in the relationship at the height of One Direction, Spirit? What was his archetype between the two of them? He was the child magical. He tends to be the Page of Cups, a younger energy, more fun, and more so like romantic type energy, meaning like very heartfelt, like centered on heart-centered, very focused on loving, very focused on fun, sweetness. There was a sweetness there with regards to Harry. Understanding the nature of healthy relationships or romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Very independent. He wasn't hiding behind anyone, in the shadows of anyone else. We also have Harry's energy and archetype between them as prostitute, which accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. So he was very strong-willed. You could not tell him anything. And that's what I got in another reading for him. Harry doesn't, just take people's advice unless he feels like they're actually like legitimate, or he feels like he trusts them, or feels like it's worth the time, like it's actually like something that's his issue to deal with. Like some people might have projected on him, but he didn't see it as a problem on his end. It was theirs. That's the energy I'm getting with Liam. Liam would sometimes try to do that, try to fix him, or try to tell people like what they should believe and think, and in reality he was the one that needed to change his perspective and heal. So I think he did heal that, or address that at least, but Harry felt that because this is the past energy. I had to plug my charger in. So let's keep going. What is Liam's feelings or archetypes? Wow, that came through. Interesting. Child orphan. He felt orphaned a bit. He felt abandoned a bit. He felt a bit jealous. Okay, so the energy that's coming through is that they initially had a great start to the relationship. They were able to come from a place of, hey, we're both in this team. This is exciting. This is great. But I almost feel, I'm just going to change the charger again, guys. I almost feel like he might have been hurt because Harry had a stronger connection with someone else in the group, and that kind of affected and triggered him because he felt like, well, we're starting out so well. I mean, you need to, I feel like I don't agree with the person you're liking or the person that you're friends with more than me. And I wonder if this is Zayn. I wonder if this is Niall or Louis, right? They're the only ones left. But I feel like he somehow felt orphaned, or felt like he was in... he felt a little isolated, Liam. He's coming through as a student archetype and the child orphan. Back in the day, he felt like he had openness to Harry, openness to learning something from him, but he felt kind of like He felt like he was kind of put away, like on the side compared to the other team members. We also have innocence, purity, and redemption. Suggests a special connection with the divine. Something about virginity is coming through. It's interesting. I'm not sure if Liam's one of the last people to lose his virginity or something along those lines. Might be TMI for some people. Something like that is coming through. And maybe he didn't really resonate with certain aspects of like sexual experience. He was kind of more so dignified in thinking that it was better not to. And that might be something that has to do with why Zayn felt, like why he felt a certain way with Zayn, starting a family. Interesting, right? Romantic charm and potential for power for Liam. So romance was still in his life. And surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Okay. Yeah, something about the divine and like his religious beliefs also are coming through in this reading. And I feel like Harry might not just think that way or has an open thought process. And I feel like he was okay with that. I feel like agree to disagree is the energy that I'm getting, but they still appreciated each other. I still think that Liam wanted to be a closer friend at some point during the height of their stardom. So let's go into the current energies. Current energies. Okay. Unexpected income, expectation, mature woman, and message again. I feel like someone keeps trying to get them to like either collaborate or do something together. But I feel like they have creative differences or they just are trying to maintain their autonomy. Interesting current energy. Who is this mature woman here? Who is this? Might be a Cancer or someone who has like significant water placements. Someone who isn't able to connect or hear back from one of them. Who is this person of the past? They keep coming into this reading for them. There's someone in between the two of them. If you guys know, please let me know. This person wanted to see something happen and it didn't happen for them. Like maybe wanted them to collaborate together, do something together. Maybe they had a project at one time, at one point that they were going to do together and they didn't do it. So this person still is persistent though. It's been so long since One Direction has been together, but this person is coming into this reading. So unexpected income through this opportunity this person's trying to throw into their distant horizons for them in the future. Let's keep going because they're annoying me because I really want to just hear about them and not about this person who wants this opportunity so bad. All right. So it's kind of like strained. Someone strained this relationship a bit and they're still straining them a little bit. Could be the management. Let's keep going. All right. Overall energy of their current relationship. Like how are things with them right now? Flexible. They're flexible at this current moment in time. From time to time, they do think of each other. They do strategize on whether it be worth doing something together. Message in a bottle is here. I feel like they don't talk very much, but there's an opportunity to connect again, and we have time to go. They've been so busy, so I'm not surprised by that. But they are, focusing on their abundance right now, between worlds. They feel like they're between worlds. Come to the edge. I feel like there's something that they should have done a while ago. So there's something that they should have done a while ago is what I'm feeling. And I had to come back because my camera did overheat again. So let's keep going. What is their current energy? Current energy between these two. Between Harry and Liam. What is the energy between these two people? They're communicative because we have the Eight of Wands coming through. They're open to talking to each other. They probably have because we had the message in the bottle come through as well. But Six of Pentacles. Okay. Then we also have the Five of Swords in reverse. I'm hearing contempt. So there's some contempt or some feeling of like disorganization. They're feeling a little muddled with each other. Bottom of the deck is the Page of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Nine of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Some of this is in reverse, so it seems like it's intentional. Just that card came through. Nine of Swords in reverse is about worrying constantly. So there's like kind of like anxiety in the midst of this for the relationship. And I don't, let's see why. Is there a reason why there's like this negativity coming through? There's an intuitive nudging on their part. There was some action that was done because we have the Ace of Wands and we have one card coming through. 1 second. It was also the Knight of Swords. Some communication, some words that were said. They still need to communicate about some words that were said that made them feel excluded or made them feel like isolated from each other. So there was something that was said between the two of them that had caused some like disruption or caused some like conflict between them. There was some like either the distance created some kind of like it created some imbalance between the two of them, and it's still there lingering in this reading. What are they healing, or what do they, let's look at what they have already healed and then what they are healing to understand what the situation is. They have already healed, offering up sacred space for each other, not muddling or meddling into Liam not meddling into Harry's affairs, Harry not meddling into Liam's affairs. And I saw 333 on the clock. I feel like they both grew so fast because we have sacred space number 21. That reduces to 3, and I think the 3s are significant for transformation between them. We also have growth, which is transformation. So there's something about them growing so quickly between the two of them, and also them understanding that they need to give each other the space necessary when they were in one direction. That's something they've already healed. They've also already healed duality, and this is on specifically Liam's side of seeing right and wrong and thinking that one's always right and one's always wrong. One way of thinking is always right and one's always wrong. I feel like he's grown a lot as a creative because now he doesn't look at aspects of Harry's style or aspects of Harry's thought processes and beliefs of the world around him as negative inherently. Now he sees the beauty of those things that he believed in, or the things that he used to do and think about. So now that's what they've healed. It seems like this is also something they've healed. I'm getting the card integration and then movement into balance. So they moved into balance through joy. I feel like Harry's joy was very significant in him learning some lessons about like letting things go and not feeling like he has to be right all the time. Something about Liam having to be right all the time. So let's get into what they need to heal and why this whole disruption or negative energy is coming into this reading. Wow, look at that, guys. Forgiveness. Number 23 needs to happen. And we have sexual energy. So there needs to be healing with regards to their sexual energy, regards to the truth, regards to their connection, and regards to new beginnings. Whoa. I would say that they have some energies between them that they haven't rectified or understood yet. What are the energies between them? Could you help me understand that, Spirit Team? Wow, I feel like this card wants to come out. So I feel like Harry stands out a little bit more than Liam, and there's been a little bit of jealousy or something playing at the behind the scenes with their relationship. So there's like a tinge of that coming through. We also have child coming out. It came out in reverse. So there's something about sexuality for Liam that's coming out. Feeling like the opportunity for a child. The opportunity for a family coming up, feeling imprisoned in some way, but I feel like he has a significant other, does he not? Please let me know in the comments below, but I'm feeling like he feels like something is a dead end, or feels like the lifestyle of one or the other is a dead end. This could be him towards Harry, thinking that his lifestyle is a dead end, he hasn't had kids, or he hasn't decided to move forward in a relationship long term, like really long. And I feel like something is coming up about that, like the judgment. Liam's judgment towards something. And I'm hearing excess piety. I feel like Liam still has a little bit of excess piety there. He's forgiving something that happened between them with regards to communication. This could be communication about something that was said. It needs to be addressed. The truth of the situation needs to come out. But I also feel like sexual energy is coming out for a reason. I feel like someone needs to get either laid Liam, or something about his sexual energy is kind of running rampant, and he needs to kind of hone that in. What is it about his sexual energy that's coming through this reading? Because I wasn't expecting sexual energy. Go the distance. Why is go the distance here being present here and now? So he needs to be okay with his sexual energy and where it is right now and where it's going. Meaning maybe there's not enough sex happening in his relationship and he's trying to mend something with his relationship currently that we don't know about. This is behind closed doors. There's something about like him needing to heal how it's expressed. Maybe he's not feeling as happy or as contented with their sex life, or he's not feeling as contented with his sexual prowess compared to the other members. Interesting. Please clarify that for me. Go the distance and here and now. Is it between the two of them? So we're getting the Hierophant, which is about relationships, higher levels of commitment. The King of Wands, which is a notorious card for like sexual drive and energy, determination. We're getting that, and then the Page of Wands. So we're getting the Page and the King of Wands. This can indicate a boy, like him having a child and having to deal with sexual energy while they're going through the motions, like him and his partner. But it feels like it has to do with him coming to an understanding of his sexual drive in general. This is something. Why is this coming into the reading, guys? Is someone curious about that? All right, so go the distance here and now. So yeah, he's just dealing with his own healing process with his sexual energy. This could also be Harry's as well, fighting some battle, internal battle within, and trying to find solace in friendships, close relationships and partners. So they're both interesting. They're kind of seeing situations with regards to these topics happen right now. I think that they're probably soul tribe. They have some understanding between each other of experiences that they're going through. But I think they need to communicate with each other on what's going on. What are their current archetypes? Current archetypes for, I'm hearing Harry, Virgin, interesting, right? Addict, and then we have Bully. So I feel like this is between the two of them. They're learning how to be okay with where they're at, confronting any addictive behaviors that they've had from like their time in One Direction and now. There's some addictive behaviors they still have to heal. Addressing their tendency to intimidate each other. They need to heal that and confront those fears that prevented them from getting as close as they got. And then maintaining symbolic purity of their heart. It's interesting. Something about their past needs to be addressed between the two of them. They need to allow themselves to have a practical way to solve this issue, and I think that's by speaking about it. Are there any other cards for them? Avenger. Balancing. They need to be balanced a bit more between the two of them. And also empowerment needs to be at the seat of this relationship. They need to focus on like always being humble, compassionate with each other, and having the self-esteem to say, hey, my sexuality or my sexual like energy is shifting, or something is happening there. Someone's going through it. Anything else? Storyteller. They need to, something about talking to each other. And also in their music, like, I wonder if they're talking about this in their music at all. It would really help a lot of people if they did. Teacher and monk nun. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing for Liam and for Harry. Let's move forward. I believe that's all I needed and that I wanted to address there with them. I'm just hearing misconceptions between them sometimes. So, and I feel like in the public there's some misconceptions about them as well. All right, let's keep going and see what comes through. So we're going to be focusing next on Liam and Louis. Let's look at Liam and Louis. What was the relationship like? What is the energy like now? Let's find out. I feel like I need to just kind of like restart in the sense of just clearing out the energy. So let me just first grab these, and then I'm just going to use some Florida water to kind of get the energy back to some equilibrium here. Because I feel like with the more people I do, the blurred things can become if I don't cleanse. So let me just get this away here. this here. And finally this here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's cleanse. Blow out any energies that are left over residually from the other readings. Same with this. Spirit team of Liam. Interesting message kept coming through. What is the dynamic between Liam and with Louis back in the day? Liam and Louis. Ooh, okay. So there's some things, there's a lot left unsaid, but let's keep going. I wanted to make sure I got individualized cards, not too many. So we have message, then message of concern, community, main female, and gift. Okay, interesting. Empress at the bottom of the deck there. So someone here had a communication or had some talks of someone in their life, like someone important to them, a feminine energy here that was a gift to them. So these two had a conversation back in the day about a relationship or about a person in particular that was very influential in their life. For some reason, Spirit's highlighting that one for us. And what else? Breathe. Very calming energy just came in through the room. Okay, so the energy between these two is like peace between these two. I feel like these two didn't seem to have too much. It feels like there was an energy of them either needing to have peace and having a second to breathe to actually restore themselves back to their like equilibrium. That's why I felt like the energy needed to be cleansed. But I also feel like with the Empress, let's look at what else is at the bottom here. We have the Empress, the Tower, and the Three of Pentacles. Interesting. These two collided in some way when they first met. I feel like they either collided in a good way or in a negative way, meaning like they needed to find their equilibrium when they met. But I feel like they ended up forming some form of a bond, a pact with each other. Very mature energy between the two of them. It's not feeling like, you know, like, for instance, with Zayn and with Liam, that was feeling a little bit like, it was feeling a little messed up, a little negative. And with him and with Liam and with Louis, it feels more like mature, like they could have mature conversations. And they also had a mature conversation in particular about a person in their life. Who is this main female? Because I'm just seeing like, the Four of Wands is usually celebration. This person might have been a Queen of Swords energy that they moved on from. So one of them had like an ex or someone that they moved on from, and a specific conversation is coming to mind that they had that is significant in their past. They've had really deep conversations, it feels like. With regards to this main female, this was someone that they didn't move forward with, that, you know, it seemed like it was on a time... it was on a timetable. It was short term. It was something that they knew the truth of the situation and they left each other. Very, very straightforward. I feel like this is Liam. So he had an ex at one point in the past during his days in One Direction. Please let me know if there are any people that he was rumored to be with or confirmed to be with back when he was in One Direction. But one of them in particular was someone that Louis and him had a conversation about, and that was something important. That message, it could have been Louis mentioning this person to him, concern about this relationship, concern about the person, and that being a gift to him. He needed to know that information about her. What is it about her? Why are we talking about this person? Yeah, the Queen of Pentacles. This could have been a Capricorn or just a very nurturing, motherly type energy. What else? Nine of Wands. Very reserved with him though. Very confrontation, or more so like passive and tired in the relationship. So this person was pretty tired. The love ran out and they need to find balance elsewhere. They could have been a Sagittarius or a Capricorn. Those two signs are very significant in their birth chart. So that's coming through. Interesting how it's coming through for these two. The conversation is important here. Overall though, what is the energy between these two? Because whenever I use these cards, they give me specific scenarios that matter in the relationship. So that is why that came up. But let's keep going. What is the energy overall between Liam and Louis? Liam and Louis. I feel like this time it would be really good for me to, Niall with swords in reverse there. It would be a good time for me to do an external, internal feelings. I feel like just sometimes it's more important than others. What's the external feeling that Liam has? External feelings that Liam has towards Louis. He has the Hanged Man energy. He was in deliberation about him on the outside. He didn't want you guys to seem like you or feel like you guys had them figured out, okay? He wanted you guys to wonder and to be in deliberation, and he himself was in deliberation about Louis externally. So he didn't seem too buddy-buddy with him in some ways. He didn't like the burden that was placed on them as a group. I think One Direction, for some reason, the Queen of Wands, when I look at the Queen of Wands, I'm seeing 1D. So I'm feeling like overall the energy of the entire group was the Queen of Wands energy. I feel like the feminine was very impactful in One Direction. So I feel like there was a lot of like overwhelming, there were tensions, burdens on their shoulders, specifically with Liam. He had this card before for another member, and so I feel like he just had to get something off his chest. He needed to get some things off his chest, but before he could, he felt like he had to be kind of in this mode of just kind of seeing how things go, waiting and seeing. Like, I don't know this guy, Louis specifically. I want to get to know him. I'm going to wait. I'm going to figure him out first. This was at the height of their relationship in One Direction, but let's look at his internal feelings, okay? How is Liam's internal feelings towards Louis? Wow, Hierophant. Committed. So he was committed to getting to know him. He saw him as a teacher, so he felt like a mutual respect with Louis. He felt like there was we'll see if it's mutual, but so far feels like it. With the Hierophant, it feels like someone you can learn from. And for the first time, okay, we've already talked about Harry and Zayn, right? For the first time, it's feeling of so far that like he really respected him as well, but respected him a little bit more, because I'm feeling like he could communicate with him. Yeah, he could communicate with him a lot better. He understood him a little bit better. What's interesting is that Louis got the God archetype with Harry, I believe, when I did a reading on how Harry felt about all of the One Direction members. Specifically with Louis, he felt the God archetype, which is a benevolence, compassion towards him. And I feel like that's a typical thing with Louis, specifically. He tends to get a lot of respect. There's something about him having a depth to his life or depth to his energy that they respect. And I see here, to clarify, wow, we have the Page of Pentacles. He was very willing to learn. This is like Capricorn energy. Justice, was very justice oriented, fair, kind, expressive, very communicative. Had reservations, had his guard up, but it was very like, he was almost like strategic with his energy, nurturing, and also very open. He was an open energy, and that was what most of the members liked about Louis. I'm just getting into Louis, but let's keep going. Let's go into how Louis felt externally towards Liam here. How did Louis feel externally? Wow, that felt like it needed to come out. Something about this one too. Anything else here for how Louis felt externally towards... Oh wow, there's some things that, what's interesting is as I'm shuffling, the card that feels like it's meant for this question is passing me by, and I feel like he's very transitory. Interesting. I'm just feeling a lot of cards for him. Okay, how does he feel externally that we need this many cards? We have the Lovers coming through for how Louis felt about Liam. Let's get all of this out of here. We also have the Empress. We also have the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Seven of Wands. So he felt very defensive. He was protective of his energy. Externally, he was very protective of his energy. He had an openness to Liam, but he felt like he would be left in the dark in some way. Interesting. Nine of Swords, Two of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. So he felt like a worry about how people would perceive him in public with Liam. So there was a sense of defensiveness, there was a sense of putting walls up. And there was a sense of indecisiveness between him and Liam. And I feel like it's unfortunate because of some sadness with regards to other members or other situations, other opportunities in the past with people. He felt pretty careful with him because he was afraid of being abandoned in some way. Maybe Louis represented, I saw Virgo energy. It feels like he represented maybe archetype of someone he knew in the past, and he felt a little uncomfortable with that. And maybe felt like he should be careful. Maybe people were talking about him specifically, about Liam, and he felt like he needed to be careful and kind of not allow himself to get too attached to him in some way in case something were to happen, whether it be like, I don't even know, was there ever a potential for Liam to leave the group first? But there is this energy of detachment, okay? Even though he has a very nurturing energy to him, I felt like he wanted to make sure he was seeming unaffected by Liam in some way. Internally though, how did Liam feel? Or how did Louis feel? These two are significant. Wow. Internally, let's keep going. Is there anything? Oh wow. So very secretive. He was holding back from you guys seeing something about his character or how he felt about him. So we have the Ace of Cups for how he felt about Louis. We have the Hermit. He felt like he had a lot of positive emotions towards him. The Knight of Cups as well. The Knight of Wands. Two Knights indicate like he was moving towards him or felt like he could be sympathetic. He could be communicative with him. He could be like friendly with him, fun around him. So there is a sense of him feeling like Liam was a sage in some way, like he had some wisdom to impart, and vice versa. They feel like they're respected between the two of them. I feel like they have a connection in some way. I feel like they do resonate with each other. Something about Virgo energy and also the cups are significant. So like water energy as well. Very, very emotional connection here. I mean, I don't know why there was that like deliberation externally where they had to look like they were still figuring each other out. They had to look like they were being defensive. I guess the persona, they had to be careful with going a little too sweet or being too sweet with each other in the sense where, or so that people wouldn't view it as something else. Basically, there's a lot of love between the two of them in the sense of just friendliness, care. They care for each other. What is the advice for these two? They need to interact and relate. So community, family, traditions, they have a lot to learn from each other. You see how this the circle of people are learning from each other, and this person's teaching these children. I feel like they're meant to learn a lot of lessons or learn things together. They're meant to learn, like sit like a student and learn some things. I feel like they've had really emotional conversations. I think they've gotten to the nitty-gritty of some really hard things. And I feel like they do bond really well together. A sacred space. They've created a sacred space for each other before in the past during this time. Interact. Look how close these two are. I mean, I feel like they have a mental, like they have like a camaraderie there, deep camaraderie. We have integration, ancient wisdom, and growth. I feel like they grow a lot. They would grow a lot continually if they were to continue to stay in touch. I haven't looked into whether they are still, but that is coming through strongly. They're very emotionally like mature now, but I feel like they still were like growing a lot together. Interesting. So their emotions were very deep, at least especially on Louis' end, more so of the love, and then Liam was more of the like respect. Okay, so let's keep it going. Current energies. Actually, very intuitive relationship too, but let's keep going. What is interesting? Mentor. Okay, so we're getting Liam as a mentor to Louis and vice versa. Both of them were like mentors to each other, and that's what we were saying. What is Liam's archetype in this relationship at the time, at the height of their group, One Direction? What was it like? Priest. Liam was the priest type archetype. Facilitates spiritual commitments and serves as a channel of spiritual energy. They had a spiritual conversations for sure. And when I said that, this fell, and now this is upside down. So it's like seeing secrets. seeing deeper things. They were very deep with each other, communicative. They were very communicative with each other, and they talked about deeper subjects, and things were very clear. They might have even talked more at night because they could have more time to really go into stuff. Bully. I think they talked about how there's this thing where I feel like Louis told Liam, like, hey, you're trying to put this like front up in some way, and you don't have to do that. And I feel like he lowered his barrier or his like defenses a bit when Louis mentioned that. Something about him telling him, you don't have to feel like you have to intimidate me or you have to intimidate other people. You don't have to seem so hard in your exterior. You can soften up a bit. And I feel like he did that. Whoa. Beggar is coming through as well for Liam, which is confronting empowerment at the level of physical survival. Also fairness and justice. And friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. I wonder if they went out on outings ever, because I feel like nature was really encouraging of this relationship in the sense that they found camaraderie with nature and with animals, and they could they related to each other that way as well. Despite others in the group having relationships or camaraderie or communication with animals, like having a close relationship, I feel like these two respected each other enough to then go deeper into their relationship and to address other things they had in common. Also, we have shapeshifter coming through, so I feel like they were able to like see beyond like deeper subjects. Like I said, with the moon in reverse, I feel like they were able to see the potential in things. They were able to open up their eyes to things that they hadn't seen before. What about Louis? Archetype for Louis in this relationship, look at that, guys. Companion. Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. I see martyr as well. I feel like between the like members, I feel like he was willing to go deeper with Liam, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause, and femme fatale. Femme fatale, erotic energy of the feminine. Open to your heart when your dependency is rejected. I feel like even when Liam tended or was a bit offensive at times, or very straightforward or very logical about things, he didn't take it too personally, and he let himself push past some barriers in order to speak to him and still like show him that he cared, or show him that he was still interested in learning more about him. He was able to get past his ego. Louis is really good at getting past his ego and getting into people's hearts. Awakens considerations of others and honors trust. He was able to like listen to Liam and not throw the information out there and share it with people. He's very good at honoring the information he shared, and he was able to remember them quite well. And I feel like if they were to like start talking, I feel like Louis and Liam would remember things, specific things. Specifically Louis, I feel like he'd be really good at remembering some things. Like, hey, I remember us talking about this years ago. You remember that? And Liam might be like, nah, I don't remember that. But he's like, yeah, I remember you saying this. And he's like, oh shit, I must have said that. Liam might have been like, oh shit. I feel like that's a really good thing about Louis. Loyalty, romance, chivalry, a love of honor. He's a very honorable person. So, and rebel, they both, I feel like he helped him get kind of into his rebellious side. I think that Louis helped Liam get more into his rebellious side a bit more. I feel like he's a very like honest and integrity type person, and I feel like he loosened up a bit with Louis. Please let me know what you guys know, because that's what it's coming off as. So it's interesting to see. And I'm hearing fellowship, like they had fellowship with each other. They were just good companions. I feel like Louis was a great companion, and he helped a lot because of that. Let's see, is there anything else that we can talk about, Spirit? Let's get into the current energy, right? Let's get into the current. Because I feel like the energy's shifting, so let me go with it. Let me move on. Alright, let's see, current energies. Something about 31 is significant because my eyes keep going to 31 on my clock because it's December 31st, but it's also 5:31. Something about 31 is significant. Could be May 31st as well. They're making that clear to me. As you know, coincidence can happen, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when your eyes are fixated or when your mind is fixated on something, you're like, huh, there's something there. So we'll see. Why 31 is so significant. Could be an age. Alright, so Mystic. Yeah, these two had a very spiritual connection. Well, even if they didn't go very far, they were definitely quick to get into the deeper topics, deeper issues here. Alright, let's see. Current energies. How does Liam feel currently externally towards Louis? Current energies, Liam. Wowzers. A lot of cards. So we have the Queen of Swords, we have the Hierophant, we have the Knight of Swords, and we have the Hermit. Very similar energies, very communicative, judgment. He would be ready to talk to him right away externally. If he were to see him at an event, he would talk, he would reach out, he would just say, hey, how's it going? Like start talking with him. But out of respect, the respect is still there with the Hierophant. What is he feeling internally towards him? The reason why I'm not really going into these other ones is because they came up again. Queen of Swords energy is more of that, like, the truth. But when I told you about his King of Swords, he tends to be in the King of Swords energy. He's coming up again as himself, more so like in a lighter energy, more generous with regards to communication. And then the Knight of Swords is communication again, along with the Hermit is about inner wisdom. I feel like he would be willing to share his lessons learned or like talk about deeper subjects with him. I feel like work is on his mind a lot, Liam specifically. Very work-oriented. Tower. Why is the Tower here? Let's look into the internal. How would he feel internally? How does Liam feel internally towards Louis? Wowzers. Knight of Wands fell. But it's upright, so that means he feels internally like he can move in towards him. He feels young at heart with him. He feels like really determined. I don't feel like a hesitancy there. We also have the Page of Swords with communicating. He'd be ready to run in and communicate with him. Moving on to calmer waters, settling some lies or some things that might have been said about him, or things that may have been left without communication or without understanding on, like they might open up communication, right, and talk about some things that were unknown. Four of Wands, like if one person heard about a rumor about one thing but they felt like it could be true, talking through that and actually getting clarity on it. I'm hearing Hermes, so interesting. And it's definitely this Hermit energy. He embodies, Liam embodies the Hermit energy a lot. Hermes is just what it's all about. I mean, very, he's definitely a seeker. That's for sure, of wisdom. Four of Wands and the Page of Cups, as well as the Sun. Wow. Joy. He feels joy towards Louis. I don't see any feelings of like malice or ill intent or anything like that. I feel like he would be open to talking to him. Yeah, he feels at peace with him. They haven't talked in a while though. He's been trying to get himself right. You know, I'm just hearing like I'm trying to get myself right. Liam's trying to focus on himself. He hasn't communicated with many of them, if not all of them, in a while. Apart from what you see on the outside, I'm just feeling like the energy of like taking a rest from social media, taking a rest from people, trying to focus on himself, getting through the heartbreak or hurt that's been acquired in the past. It feels like he's been doing that on his own. So yeah, this is his external and internal feelings towards Louis. Positive though. We have the High Priestess in reverse, which is interesting. I feel like sometimes things can creep in. People can lie or lie about Louis and him. For some reason that's coming through, and he sometimes is easy. He's apt to remembering, or he's apt to hearing what people have to say and the negative things and believing them. So it's something personal to him that he does. He tends to look at the worst, and sometimes he ends up forgetting that it could just be someone trying to talk shit about the person and say that so that he gets mad at that person, and it's not true. So Liam just has to be careful with not being allowing hurt to mess with his intuition about somebody. He knows what he feels about him. He just needs to be careful of like other people trying to stir the pot, okay? Because we have the Ace of Cups, which is about like the feeling he has, the love he has towards Louis, and then there's being this barrier, being resilient, not letting himself listen to the energy of like toxicity or people around him that might be toxic. Let's look at Louis. How does Louis feel currently externally towards him? Wow, we got the Three of Swords, the Eight of Cups, the Six of Wands, wowzers, the Death card, the King of Cups, the Chariot. Interesting. So Louis took some time away. He kind of ran away from a situation with regards to Liam. He felt heartbroken externally, and he wants people to know that there's something residual left over that they need to talk about. Because I feel like the energy of running away from something, scurrying away and focusing on his own future, his own tasks, his own life. Moving on to more fulfilling times ahead. I feel like Louis was kind of looking towards the future, looking forward. Right now he's looking towards something else. So he's feeling like he's dealing with this energy with the Three of Swords with him. Why though? I feel like he's at peace though, because he feels like something has been done or shaved off with regards to his past with One Direction in some form with Liam. I wonder what happened there. What happened between these two? This is external, so of course it doesn't have to be like his... okay, main female. So some main female is coming into this reading. It's different from the energy of Harry and Liam. When there was a mature female, it felt like more like management. This time it feels like an actual person between them. Like an actual like love interest, concern over this main female. And main male, interesting. And then we have house and sudden wealth. Bad health. Interesting. There's some relationship here that's coming through. Because when you see main female and then you see concern and then main male, these two are having some issues. Bad health in the house that they have, or bad health with the relationship. So there's some relationship here coming through in this reading. Some situation really messed with their relationship, and it feels like it was like a competitive edge or competitive nature came through. Is there someone that they were interested in, that both of them were interested in at one time or another? Please let me know in the comments below. That would make a lot more sense to me, because I feel like there's someone in between these two. Expectation, occupation, toil and labor, high honor. So I feel like whenever someone in this group would date or had the concept, was considering dating someone, it would mess with Liam. Like, he does not like the idea of any of the members. I don't know why. Back in the day, he used to not like members having other things on the outside that would distract them. I feel like he's a very logical person, and I feel for some reason like there was something there that he did not like about a person that was interested in Louis, or vice versa, and they had a disagreement about it. I really want to know what this is. This is interesting to me. Three of Swords though, externally. Let's keep going. So there's something about a relationship that came in between them in some way. Moving on, he moved on. Louis healed, moved on, because I see the Death card here. It means that he like transitioned out of this energy. He's happy now. He's moved on. He is focusing on his prowess with regards to his music and with regards to his abilities. I'm hearing entertainment. So I don't feel like he's taking this too strongly or personally, but the opportunity, if the opportunity were to arise that they would see each other, I feel like he'd still be kind, he'd still be like caring, but I feel like there's this energy of still having his guard up in some manner. Let's look at his internal vibe. That will help us. So we have the Ten of Cups, guys, so that's really good. Ten of Cups towards Liam. What is his internal vibe? The Fool. We have Strength in reverse. It's like he has this measure, Louis has this measure of peace about himself, about his life right now, that he doesn't hold on to people or hold on to certain people. He's not holding on to Liam specifically internally. He feels like a kindness, and like he feels like he's like a part of his story. He feels like he's harmonious with him. But there's like externally this like, I don't know why there's this air of like holding back in some way. So we have 10 of Cups, the Fool, the Strength in reverse, 8 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, Queen of Wands, a lot of Wands. And yeah, that's, the Sun is not for that one, that was for the other one. So with all of these cards, there's so many things coming through for him. His internal feeling is that he feels like there are still things that he holds on to that he remembers from conversations in the past. He's very protective, very honoring of the information that Liam gave him in the past. He understands. But there's something about it being weighty, or him feeling like he feels like his equilibrium is affected by Liam, though, in some way. He has no personal issues with him at all right now. He feels like he's moved on from the situation with like regards to their past. That's like indicative of like freedom. He feels free with him, or feels free when it comes to him. The Strength card, though, in reverse tells me that he feels like he has to be a bit either too like stubborn with him, or he has to be like he has to let go of some things of the past that come up, communicative with them. And then we have that 4 of Pentacles, which feels like when you're holding or restricting information from someone, or you're restricting information that they gave you. And it's about a woman. It's about a Queen of Wands. And I know I said this was like one direction before. This feels like a person now. A fire sign. Could be a fire sign here. Bottom of the deck is the Temperance, 6 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords. There's no ill will here. It's just there's something about holding off or holding on to information from the past. What's the 4 of Pentacles about? Okay. 7 of Cups in reverse. Certainty. 5 of Swords. Moving forward. Interesting. He's kind of protecting himself. He's protecting his energy. He has no ill will towards him, like I said for like 5 times. He has no ill will towards him, but he also feels like he needs to protect himself a bit, because he feels like there's some conflict that could come up, especially with regards to the media. I feel like he feels careful, and that's why the 4 of Pentacles is here. That's about holding things in or holding back from someone. He feels a bit restrictive now. And I feel like it's because he has to be that way in order to acquire, in order to keep his cool, or like to prevent himself from getting misunderstood by the media or by people. He holds back. He's holding back in some way from Liam. They've probably grown so much that they don't really know who they are right now anymore. Like who they are anymore, because they've grown. 10 of Wands in the Sun. They're happy, respectively, these two. I just can't get over that 4 of Pentacles. The Pentacles, that's kind of confusing. Let's look at the scenario. Why is the 4 of Pentacles there in this reading? We know that the main female was up. Okay, marriage. So marriage or partnerships. Something about a partnership or marriage. Mature man. And then we have bad health, family room. So it's family member, adjudication, and house. I'm hearing omen, false person, occupation, thief. There's someone in their life. I don't know if it's Louis that has like an opinion of Liam's partner. Or vice versa, Liam has an opinion of Louis' partner. But there's something here about a partnership where one of them believes the other has a false person that they're with. I don't know why relationships are being so like affecting their friendship. But I mean, if you have a close person, right, in your life and you feel strongly about them, it does affect your friendships and how you see those people show up in your life. You know, some people decide to not really have as many friends after they find their significant other, and that person is their friend, right? So they kind of close off from other friendships. They have too much set on the romantic partner, and they don't hear from their friend, you know, or they don't talk to their friend, hang out with them much. I'm just getting the energy of something about their relationships coming in between them, or there being confusion about some main female in some relationship. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. One of them has some like weaknesses there with regards to relationships. One of them's a Don Juan. I don't know. What is the archetype that they currently are in, Liam? We have storyteller. He has a lot of stories to tell at this time, especially with Louis. He would love to tell him some things. We have child eternal, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, and ability to see things with fresh new eyes. He's learned a lot, guys. Liam has learned a lot. I feel like he'd be open to conversating about what he's learned. Is there anything else? I don't know why I'm hearing elf. It's so weird. Bully and slave. Surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust, and highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Interesting. Yeah, so he's learned a lot about empowerment, about not letting himself act like a bully, but also not treating people or feeling like he needs to put up a wall to intimidate other people between them. So very mature way of looking at life, very mature way of seeing things, detective, seeing things from a mile away, seeking out the truth. I feel like Louis has also grown a lot with regards to seeing things from a mile away, or seeking out the truth of a situation. And maybe that's why they're not as close. They're recognizing where they are in life and the distinction between them. Something about relationships for these two. Exorcist, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses, and then also dedication to transcending physical limitations. So devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. Very spiritual energy coming through in this reading for these two. These two are very spiritual. I feel like Liam has helped Louis in some way with regards to athleticism, or with regards to like personal willpower, focusing on his willpower and strength. I think Liam has been very empowering to him. I don't know why the energy is tapering off for them. There's something about them tapering off from each other. And it's interesting to see the belief that everything is possible. They haven't truly created some pathway yet to each other. It feels very like murky between the two of them. What's their trajectory? What is the trajectory between Louis and Liam? Okay, 7 of Cups in reverse, and 3 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like they're going to remain good friends. I feel like they're just biding their time. I feel like they're going to talk about some deeper subjects finally when the opportunity arises, but I feel like their friendship is something that will sharpen over time. I see that, and I don't see that with everyone. So I feel like there's just some murkiness because they need to talk about something that happened or someone. But I feel like they're going to talk to each other very soon. Something's getting them in their head a bit. Let's move on to Niall. With Niall, Niall and Louis, or Niall and Liam. The L's got me. What would you like to say, Spirit Team? Where should I go with this? Let's get into this. So much going on in my mind here. Wonder if that's how they're feeling. Why? So what is the energy? What was the energy at the height of One Direction between Niall and Liam? Niall and Liam. Wow, 6 of Cups. It's a very nostalgic energy. It's a soulmate card. Feeling like the person is a friend, like their family, with the 10 of Pentacles. 8 of Swords though, and the Queen of Cups. someone felt misguided in some way in their life at the time that they met each other. So with regards to Liam and Niall, yeah, bottom of the deck is Three of Pentacles, friendship. Someone had some feelings of some vices that the other helped them with. So either Niall or Liam felt like they had to deal with that. Fireworks going off in the background. But yeah, and that was very helpful to them. This was a fated connection. Wow, Nine of Cups, Ace of Cups, guys, Seven of Wands. They were very protective of each other. So Niall and Liam actually got along with regards to feeling like a sense of familiarity with each other. Emperor, masculine energy was addressed in the relationship. We have the Nine of Swords and the King of Swords. I feel like Niall was the Emperor and Liam was the King of Swords. I feel like they might have caused each other some anxiety because I feel like if they talked too much, certain things would get them in their head. Because I feel like one of them was a very thoughtful and thought-provoking person. I feel like it might be Niall. Just from the energy coming in, it feels like it sometimes got him feeling like he had to second guess himself or to question something that he thought he knew. And that might have caused some contention at some points. But between them, I feel like there was a familiarity between each other. What's interesting is I saw after the Emperor, I saw the Empress. So with regards to like abundance, I feel like they helped each other in their abundance back in the day as they were learning about their their status in society. They probably felt like they needed to like ask each other some really deep questions, and they communicated a whole lot, even from afar. Yeah, they communicated from afar, texted, called each other back in the day. What is their relationship like now? Wow, they still communicate. Yeah, they're still friends and still communicate. Do you guys know about that? Please let me know. They still communicate to this day. This one is constant. What is this card? We have the Devil. So they feel like there's some vices, or this is a Capricorn energy coming in. I don't know if either of them are Capricorns, but there's a constant with regards to the Capricorn, or with regards to like toxicity and talking about their vices or addressing some like illusions. I'm definitely getting Capricorn energy. Is either of them a Capricorn or has solid or specific Capricorn placements? Because I'm getting that twice now with the Queen of Pentacles and the Devil. They found balance with each other. Yeah, in order to manifest something new, transitioning into getting out of indecisiveness. There's something about air energy with Niall and Liam. There's something about them getting in their head. I think Niall would get in his head. That's coming through. Wow, so they still talk to each other. They're still addressing some things that come through with regards to how they're doing currently. Any patterns. Yeah. They want me to talk about Liam a little bit more. Strength. He helped strengthen Liam is what I'm getting with Niall. We have Child Eternal. Or Child Divine, excuse me, an addict. So there's something about addictions that Liam helped Niall see with regards to addictive behavior, drugs, drug use, anything like that, the tendency or temptation for it, and also your connection with the divine. So I don't know if they've had conversations about spirituality. I feel like Liam does that with people, about difficulties, talking about hardships, trying to help people. I wonder if Liam's interested in doing anything like with psychology or anything like that. It's 555 on the clock. I feel like he would be a really transformative person in that sect or sector of medicine or therapy. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. He helped balance people out in general. They're bringing me to him as an overall energy. So what was the archetype? Wow, Tower moments. He brought Tower moments to people. What was the archetype that Liam was in? Oh, wow. Okay. So my camera overheated there. So we were just going into the archetypes for Liam. We have guide. So Liam's coming in as a guide representing the nature of the divine in life and yourself, and also mystic. He has both here coming in. Very spiritual. These almost seem like what is it called? Two halves of the whole when it comes to these two here. Mystic and guide. Companion. So he's coming through as a companion, loyal, tenacious, and unselfish with regards to his relationship with Niall. Also empowering with the hero, heroine archetype and scribe. He remembers things. He remembers things with regards to what they've talked about, preserving knowledge and information. Being very good with hashing out information to help him, to help Niall. So what is Niall coming into, or what archetypes does he embody with Louis? I feel like he got a lot of help from him because we have a child wounded. Awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children and opens the learning path of forgiveness. He helped him through some forgiveness, Niall specifically. An alchemist, using and transforming base motives and goals that they had as a group and also individually into golden wisdom. So very edifying relationship this was. Father, talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And we have Samaritan. Same as Zayn, guys, which is refining your capacity to help those you'd prefer to ignore. So he just felt very like kind, giving. Both energies felt very loyal to each other, very interested in empowering each other on their journey as they went through this group, and it feels like it was more so spiritual. Let's keep going. Let's look at what they healed with regards to this relationship. What did they heal? We have, it's all good. Being at peace with how life, the cyclical nature of life, of how things go. Of accepting where they are in their life and where they were, like kind of getting through some difficult things together, like addictions, for instance, wounded children, like going through like their inner child healing, awakening compassion for other people, for themselves through their life. And then also divine timing is coming out, them learning about how they met and what happened, and the whole like industry, like working through becoming as big as they are and being at peace with that. And also just feeling like all of it is meant to be. They can use this to help other people, to bolster people up, to like, it's like spiritual, seeing beyond the physical of like the money that they get out of this, their career path or their notoriety, but like seeing how they can really benefit other people in society and also help each other. So there's divine timing there, feeling like they were at the right time at the right place when they met each other. Also, we have one more. Struggle, going through the struggle. The struggle is real. I feel like they either said that or felt that way when they were going through their experience. Coming to grips with their past, their present, and their future, like it says, which is it's all good as well. That's like about being at peace and acceptance about everything. So let's look at their current energies. What do they currently feel? Ooh, okay, got the Devil, Six of Cups in reverse, and the Ten of Cups in reverse, or the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Let's look at that again, because that feels really interesting. Let's see if it comes back up. What is Liam's external vibe now? What is Liam's internal vibe towards Niall now? Internal. And what is Niall's external vibe? And what is Niall's internal vibe? Wowzers. Alright, let's get into it. So we have at the bottom of the deck the Ace of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Four of Swords. They had a lot of difficulties in their past, and I feel like they're resting from what they experienced. Let's get into the specifics though. External vibe, right, of Niall and Liam. Liam's external feelings towards him is the Hierophant and the Death card. Seeing that he learned a higher lesson with regards to their relationship, and that something has ended. Also showing that they're likely not talking, they're likely not in a relationship. They just learned some big things, either separately or they learned it through their communication in the past. Now, Hierophant and Death tells me they're more so saying externally, we learned lessons and we moved on. What's his internal feeling? We have, wow, the High Priestess. He sees the relationship for what it is now. He has clarity. Liam. Let's look at Niall. His external vibe or feeling was the Five of Wands. Feeling like they were at odds in some way competitively in the public, like how people saw them. Externally feeling the Seven of Pentacles, feeling really tired of it. So Niall is pretty over people trying to compare these two. Something about that is coming through. And then for his internal feelings, we have the Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Hanged Man, the Knight of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. He wants to be able to have like a good, positive relationship with him with regards to the Knight of Cups here. If you look at the Knight of Cups, the Two of Cups, but is stuck in his head. He tends to get in this Eight of Swords quite often with regards to their relationship. He saw many times that came out, but he's slow and steady. He feels like he is inspired to move towards, you know, seeing him in a new light. Something about seeing him differently is very important to him. He would prefer to see him differently and to get out of his head in some way. But the thing with Liam is he feels very sure, very assured of what he feels and what he thinks about him. What is the situation between these two right now? Official person. What is the situation between them? House. And we have message of concern. And great fortune. So official person, house, and message of concern. At the bottom of the deck is main, male, concern, and community. Wow. Oh, there's one more. Change. Change came through in distant horizons for clarifying the message of concern. So what I'm getting from these 4 or 5 cards, I'm feeling like they're focusing on family right now, focusing on themselves, who they see as the official person in their lives. I'm also feeling like there's something about the official person. Can I have a clarifying card? Yeah, high honor here. Just saw that flip over, high honor. So their notoriety, like who they are in the public, focusing on the wealth of what they have going for them and what they can do with that. It seems as though there's some concern here with regards to that transforming. As they have grown, as they have moved on into their own individual career paths. Something about that transition is concerning to them. Why is it concerning though? Main male. So it's Liam. He's concerned about marriage. Why is this coming up so many times? Expectation and community. How people are going to feel about that if he has a child and a marriage happening for him. So something about, why is it always coming in for Liam with everybody? Like, does he want to tell everyone basically that he's going through that? I mean, if he does, he should share it because it keeps coming up in the reading. Okay, so moving forward, wow. So Niall and him, right, having this spiritual connection sometimes is not easy. Even if they do have opportunities to talk, it felt like Liam was more of a mentor. So he helped him through some addictive behaviors, helped him through some instability in some way in the past. But currently they feel like there's this like nostalgia surrounding this relationship. There's also Niall feeling unsure and feeling like he's not sure where they stand anymore. But there's a lot of respect in some way and acceptance on Liam's end with regards to how things ended with Niall. But I feel like Niall has a lot more to say. He has a lot more to get through because I feel like Liam has already done the work. He's already intuitively understanding what's going on and what happened. He's more trusting. He's more like focused on his spirituality than anything. What are their archetypes now, Spirit? What is Liam's archetypes between them, shapeshifter. So he kind of can go in and out of like looking at the past between the two of them and remembering it and like talking and familiarizing himself again with Niall at some point. But I also feel like he sees, he tends to be a chameleon in a relationship. If they were to talk to each other, he would kind of just do whatever he felt was, he would kind of revert back to who he was back in the day, because I'm getting mediator again. That's what we have with Zayn. Feeling like he has to be fair and to be like someone that is watching out for both parties, for himself, for others. Warrior is coming through, and Fool, having a sense of humor, focusing on what he's learned from the experience with the Thief card. This doesn't feel very deep. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. As deep as I expected for someone that's so spiritual as a guide, right? How would Niall respond or be? What kind of archetype would he be in? We have Vampire. He would be aware of any influences. He would be very careful with Liam in some way. Time really changes people, guys. He would be aware of when something's draining his life force, of when he's being drained. So I don't know if something happened between them where he felt like he had to be careful of that between the two of them, but also being very like aware of lies. So I don't know if Liam's ever lied to him about some things that he was dealing with, like Liam was dealing with, that never came up. But he would be very careful with Liam going forward. And Queen, feminine. He's more in his feminine, Niall, than Liam is, using their benevolent, her benevolent authority to protect others. Very protective, very benevolent though. He'd be very kind to him, but he would also be very protective of what he knows of people. Interesting how time has changed things. Storyteller, would talk about the past a lot. That's coming through. So that is what I have for them so far. Let's see what they're healing. I really need to know what they're healing here. Omens, the signs, seeing the signs in their life. Signs in the relationship as well. Sometimes when you take a lot of time to help someone heal, like for instance, if Liam was like affecting or doing something to help Niall, like communicating with him about addictive patterns and stuff like that, sometimes that can take a toll on the relationship. And sometimes what that can do is really affect how that person moves, like how they move around you too, because they see that they're always the one helping or assisting or trying to facilitate something in your life. So there's something about them transforming and becoming so different now, and seeing that they've learned the signs, they've seen the signs of their past, and they move forward. What are they healing? Okay. Inner journey, seeing this all as an inner journey instead of trying to find someone else to help and assist, which is a good thing, but I feel like between the two of them, they've done the work they needed to. Forgiveness now is really important. Forgiveness of what? Forgiveness of perception. Number 9 coming through. Perception. How they looked at each other, how they looked at crying, how they looked at their emotional release in the past, like how Liam used to look at it has shifted. How Niall looks at his perception of the past with Liam, that's changed a lot. So there's a lot of things, but I feel like they've let go in some regard. I don't really see them being as close. Letting go is important here. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope this helps you gain a better understanding of these two and of all of them with regards to Liam. If you have any questions, recommendations, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if there are any thoughts that you'd like to share. I'd love to hear them. But until next time, I'd love to see you guys soon. Take care.